Hi, my name is Ashima Ananda, and I've written a book called Charging Your Chakras, a practical guide to chakra exploration. I discussed the book in depth in previous videos. I invite you to go take a look at those. It's available on ashimaananda.com. I invite you to purchase it and start your journey experimenting and practicing and finding value in the chakra system that lives inside all of us and is available to us to access. So that's the book that I wrote. This is the card deck that I wrote. It's got all the different chakras. It's got full color. It's got meditations on the back. It's a really fun resource too. Again, ashimaananda.com. So what we've been doing recently is we've been talking about building a glimmer practice. You may have heard about glimmers. Glimmers are what they say glimmers are the opposite of triggers. So glimmers are things when you have, well, we'll call it spanda, an elevation of consciousness, and that consciousness tells you, oh, I'm happy. Oh man, I'm feeling elated. Wow, that feels so great. Or however, whatever emotion comes up for you that makes you feel really, really good. And what the person or people who talk about this, they say, hey, start noticing them more and they will, they'll happen more in your life. And I said, yes. And we can bring even more attention to it. One of the things that I talk about in the book is building practices. In fact, the book is separated into 3 parts. The practicalities, which gives you really good information. What are the chakras? Where do they live in my body? What do they do? What are they called? What is the color associated with them? What is a meditation associated with them? Then we go to practicalities, practices. Then we go to practices. And that's what we're doing right now. We are building a practice. In the book, there's 2 options. The first one is there's several practices that I pre-built that I have used and that I have in my life have proven to be valuable. And then there is also the opportunity for you to create your own. And this is one of those opportunities to create a glimmer practice. And then the last part of the book, and this to my way of thinking is the most important, and that is proof. We need to be able to gather the data and prove to ourselves what's happening. So the topic for me was nebulous. When I started thinking about glimmers, I thought, oh, well, isn't that cool? But then how do I consistently notice them? How do I consistently bring glimmers to the forefront of my brain? How do I consistently notice them? How do I consistently embody them and know, hey, what's happening in my body? What am I doing when that happens? And then, of course, how in the world do I memorize that? How do I memorize a feeling? How do I memorize a feeling? And we talked a little bit last time about memorizing the feeling, because that's the 3rd step in a glimmer practice as far as I have outlined it thus far. And memorizing it is an embodiment practice, just like embodiment, step 2 is embodiment, but it's also an opportunity for you to think about your feelings as something you can control, something you can take out of the box, look at, examine, figure out, think about, and memorize. So when I thought about that, the time in between this video and last video, the last video and this video, I remembered this quote from Elizabeth Gilbert. Is it Elizabeth? Yeah, Elizabeth Gilbert. And love it or hate it, Eat, Pray, Love. It's from Eat, Pray, Love. But she talks about how you can choose your thoughts, just like you choose your outfit every day. And that started me thinking, I started doing that after I heard this quote. I have not read or seen Eat, Pray, Love, but I did know this quote from a yoga class I take pretty often online. And she ends the class with that quote. And so at about 3:30 in the morning, I can't control my own thoughts. I wasn't able to. I don't know why. I don't even know why it was 3 o'clock in the morning. There has got to be some scientific explanation, but I don't know. Um, for why we have, I have, maybe you have this too. At 3:30, my brain kind of wants to hijack everything. Wants to hijack my emotions. It wants to hijack my connection to my chakras. It wants to hijack reality because I know that these things aren't true. These awful thoughts I'm having, they're not true. So I thought about what I decided to do was in the middle of the night, I'm like, okay, when that happens again, come up with this quote. You choose your thoughts as just as easily and as quickly and as with as much thought as you choose your outfit every day. So that started putting me in mind of, okay, if I'm going to choose my thoughts, I'm going to need to know what my thoughts are and what I would prefer them to be. And then I'm going to need to access. Remember that because that'll be in number 4. And this is sort of number 3A. But how do you access that? Well, the process for me starts by memorizing it. Oh, I completely forgot to set my timer. How long have we been going? Oh man. All right, this one's going to be just a little bit longer, and then we're gonna head to the 4th step in the next video. But let me just finish up with thoughts. So it's 3:30 in the morning. I'm thinking to myself, okay, how do I choose my thoughts just as easily, quickly, and with as much robust joy as I choose my outfits every day? I'm kind of a clothes horse. I really like outfits, and I like choosing them. So it's 3:30 in the morning, and I'm thinking, okay, all right, I'm going to choose a new thought. And there were lots of times when I was like, I can't. What am I doing? I'm in a sweat. I mean, it was just awful. And I had no presence of mind. I had no peace of mind. I had no way to do it. So I started just saying a mantra and running the energy from the tip of my head to the bottom, the last chakra, and then up again. And what I would do is, and this is where the practicalities come in really handy, I would say the name and the one I like, I am. So I would say the name, I am divine, I am connected, I am expressive, I am loved, I am strong, I am creative, I am safe. And then I would do it again. I am safe, I am creative, I am strong, I am loved, I am expressive, I am connected, I am divine. And I would do that over and over again. And over time, now this is a practice that I've had for quite some time. Over time, those runaway thoughts that I was having started to slide away, and they were slowly being supplanted by the chakras and their role in my life and my bringing my attention to them. So when we talk about memorizing feelings, that's what I mean. So when I'm spinning out of control and my brain is not cooperating, I will immediately begin to run the energy through my chakras, up and down, until I am satisfied that I have found my place in the world again, that I am back in that moment of glimmer that I liked so much. For me, one of the glimmers I like the best is when I feel open hearted and completely grounded. And I know that feeling. I have accessed that feeling hundreds, if not thousands of times, and I have memorized that feeling. First, I memorized it, then I was able to access it. I know what it feels like, and I know when I'm not feeling that way. So this is kind of video 3A to give you some idea of how in the world to memorize how you feel. One other item of note, and then I will let you go. I know this one is much longer, and I won't do that again. I told you I was singing in a group, a community choir, and one of the ladies came up and she said, I just those high notes, and we were talking about them for a little while. We talked about the straw method, and and she got the straw, and I said, oh, please tell me, how it goes. But one of the things that I said to her, I don't know if it resonated with her, but it sure resonated with me. I said, when you get that high note, and I'm talking like an A or a G, well, F, somewhere in there, up in the stratosphere for a soprano. When you get that note and you feel where it sits and it resonates in your head, if you're a singer, this might resonate with you, no pun intended. And you get that note and it's beautiful and it's big and it's huge and you just think, oh, I did it. Memorize that feeling and you will always hit that note. Memorize that feeling and you will always hit that note. This one has been really long, but I hope on some level that step number 3, memorize the feeling, runaway thoughts. I've given you some ideas about how to build a practice of your own that feeds your soul and gets you to that place of that glimmer that you like the best. For me, like I said, it was an open heart and groundedness. For you, it might be something completely different. And if it is, let me know in the comments. If it isn't, let me know in the comments. I would really love to hear from people and whether or not any of this is landing for you. Sending positive energy out to all beings everywhere. Namaste. The light in me recognizes, honors, and loves the light in you.